Welcome to Above Replacement Radio. I am your host, Chris Gianta. You know what Christy Mathewson wasn't worried about? SIERA. When you're thinking about Pedro Siriaco, I mean, the only one that can compete is maybe Hannes Wagner's 1908 season. Over there on the other side of the screen is Daniel Kern.
Like, if we just clip together every time we've talked about him on other people's profiles, we've done a Mickey Cochran episode.
I can't get past Rabbit Marinville. It's not necessarily Hall of Fame. It's not necessarily above average, but we can guarantee you we are better than just the standard replacement level college sophomore.
And welcome to Above Replacement Radio. We're talking baseball kind of whenever. I am your still relatively relaxed host, Chris Gianta. Over there on the other side of the screen is Daniel Kern. How you doing, Daniel?
Chris, I am doing amazing today. It is a great day to be a baseball fan. July 1st, you already know what today is, what today represents if you're a baseball fan, and if you love the intricacies of the game and the loopholes and the crazy stuff that happens to teams. It is Bobby Bonilla Day today. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day, Chris.
Yeah, a happy day. You know, when I think of July holidays, it's Bobby Bonilla Day, and then it's 4th of July. That's what I think.
I was going to say, specifically like early July holidays, like it's Bobby Bonilla Day, and then there's the other stuff.
Yeah, everything just kind of pales in comparison. It's a wonderful day. It's a just wonderful mistake that happened in the baseball world. 2 decades ago now, but still plaguing the Mets.
Absolutely. And I mean, we got another 14 years to go. We're not stopping anytime soon. We're like almost halfway through the whole thing because it started in 2011. We're now in 2021. So this is the 11th season that they'll be doing this. And we got 14 more to go.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane how many years this is going to be going on. I mean, we'll be in our mid-30s when this is over, which is crazy to think about.
Scary.
Yeah. I'll probably know, I need to be very far advanced in my life by the time Bobby Bonilla Day ends. Like, I need to have goals by the time Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I might be when it ends, like, I could be telling my kids about it.
Right. Yeah.
Which, granted, hopefully, they might not be old enough to understand, but I might be like, see, listen, son or daughter, Today's the final day of the end of a true era. July 1st will never be the same again after today.
All right, kids. Today we're going to learn about deferred
Ponzi
contracts.
schemes.
Yeah.
There was a man by the name of Bernie Madoff.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh.
Just story time about financials with small children. That's amazing.
Man, it was only supposed to be $100,000, but the Mets decided to kick the can down the road because they didn't want to pay it now. And it turned into $1 million every year for 25 years. But, what people forget to talk about is that with the money that the Mets spent to not pay Bobby Bonilla back then, they used that money to sign Mike Hampton. And Mike Hampton was the NLCS MVP in the year 2000, the year the Mets went to the World Series. But they lost that World Series, and Mike Hampton went to Colorado after that. And you see, kids, when you lose players like that to free agency, you get compensation draft picks. These magical things where a player leaves, you get a compensated first round pick. And you know who the Mets took with their pick for Mike Hampton? They took David Wright. He was a good baseball player. So you know what? People forget it was actually kind of good for the Mets in a way, but we still love to make fun of them, even though like the whole thing could be the reason why they even got David Wright to begin with.
Yeah. And they're like
story time with Daniel.
I mean, it would be good to tell a kid because some stories just end up having happy endings, and this one kind of had a happy ending.
I mean, people like to ignore the happy ending. Like, I feel like most baseball fans aren't aware of that, but that is true.
Yeah, it all kind of worked out in the end. I mean, it's worth the $1 million a year, or what is it, 1.9 million?
I think it's like 1.193, I think, but it goes up every single year.
Yeah. So it's Yeah, it's
'Cause
it's
it's
worth a little
interest.
over $1 million to have, David Wright's career just there for the Mets.
It's like they're still paying David Wright if you just think about it through that lens, even though it's not true at all.
Hmm.
Because like okay, there are many other deferred contracts in baseball, and Mets fans who like to bring it up. It's like, well, like this team is like the Red Sox are still playing Manny Ramirez today, and they're doing that for another 6 years. Like that, the Mariners are paying Ichiro today. The Reds are paying Ken Griffey Jr. today. It's like, yeah, but the thing here is that those players were good. Like, but
Yeah,
how many Mariner fans are complaining that they're still paying Ichiro through whatever year? Probably
yeah.
not many.
I
Probably
don't think.
many of them don't know, and they'll be like, you know what, it's Ichiro, he deserves it. Same thing with the Red Sox and Manny. Same thing with the Reds and Griffey in the examples that I just mentioned. Bobby Bonilla had a 49 OPS plus for the tenure that the Mets are paying him for. He was awful.
Yeah, and he was never.
Second of all, it's the way it all happened. It's the way it all happened. Like it's how it was supposed to be a small amount of money, and then with interest, it became this large amount of money that's extrapolated over 25 years. And it's all. This is the deferred payment day. It's the day that all these payments are made, but it's become Bobby Bonilla Day because of how that all happened.
Right. Yeah, and like it was not supposed to happen this way. He was not supposed to get this much money, and I feel like maybe this could become a thing with Chris Davis, because I know Chris Davis, with a C, has
It
a
could be.
has a deferred payment, but I don't think he's going to get 10 times as much as he was supposed to.
No.
I don't think that's going to be a
If
thing.
I mean that'd be a huge problem because he's already supposed to get a lot.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to get like at least $3 million a year in deferred payments. So if you multiply that by 10, it would be $30 million a year. I don't think that's going to be.
That'd be imagine if the Orioles had to do that.
Oh my
They're paying him
god.
Pujols money when he was actually 46.
Yeah. Yeah, and like out of the
That'd
league
be
for
that'd be bad.
10 years. Yeah, he wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, a happy Bobby Bonilla day. We got, like what, 15 more in store.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, it's 15 more, including today.
the
Today, I mean, it's very weird because like we just celebrate this holiday just by acknowledging it. It's not like there's like a TV broadcast of like Steve Cohen signing the check. It's just like, yeah, it's happening somewhere out there today, but we're all celebrating, even though none of us can actually see it.
yeah. Yeah, it's just a fun
I
topic for
think
our
that would do really
podcast.
well. I think someone should do that. Imagine if like Steve Cohen like just had a they just held a press conference. They just brought Bobby back every year. They're like, Bobby, congratulations on another year.
Yeah.
They did like a Twitter or Facebook live. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I wonder what Bobby Bonilla just does in life. I, I
I
mean,
mean, he doesn't have to. He has no worries. Well,
he
actually, he might
doesn't.
have worries. I shouldn't say that, but he's set financially.
Yeah, he doesn't have any financial worry unless he blows all those $1 million. But then he can wait a
How old
year.
is he? How old is Bobby Bonilla?
I would guess he's like in his mid to late 50s.
Probably
I would imagine.
58 years. Yeah, 58 years old. It is very funny that like he was a great player in like the early 90s. He also has 2,000 career hits, but like people are just like he's the guy who gets paid on July 1st.
Right, right. Like was a good combo with Barry Bonds, I'm pretty sure, and with the Pirates.
Yeah, yeah. And then early 90s Pirates, like they were. I think he's finished second in like an MVP vote one of those years when Barry won it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
a
people
shame,
forget he
but
was good at baseball.
he does get $1 million a year to do nothing.
Yeah.
Um
I mean,
at least for
I
the
would have the
Mets.
reputation shifted. Oh, he also won a World Series with the Marlins in '97. He was a six-time All-Star, a three-time Silver Slugger. Had a career 829 OPS for an 824 OPS plus. Yeah, it's not bad. Had 287 career home runs, 2,010 hits, exactly 1,000 behind Wade Boggs. Yeah, he finished second in the MVP vote in 1990 and third in 1991. course, 1991 was the year where Terry Pendleton absolutely robbed Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will never I was about 9 years away from being born. I will still never get over that, as if I witnessed it.
Oh yeah.
Like
I
that
mean,
was an absolute highway robbery.
there's many MVP votes I'm upset about from
Wow.
like, the 30s and 40s. I think
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Lou Gehrig should have won
Bonilla
it
played
in
60 games.
uh
Go ahead.
Lou Gehrig should have won it in 1934, but they gave it to a Tiger because they went to the pennant. And Ted Williams should have won like two or three more, and then of course Willie Mays should have won two or three more.
Yeah. Willie Mays only won 2, and that's like a crime.
Exactly.
That's not okay. Bobby Bonilla played 60 games for the Mets in 1999. Do you want to guess what his B WAR was in those 60 games?
Oh, his B WAR, I'm gonna guess negative 1.0.
Negative 1.4
Oh my god, not good.
in a 60 game span. Yeah,
Yeah, not good whatsoever.
it's pretty. That's
That probably would have been
gosh,
last in the league
160,
in 2020.
Yeah, yeah, that would absolutely. He would have been a slightly alarming.
Absolutely.
Wow, that is tough. He was 19 for 119 on the year.
Jeez.
He had a good walk rate though. His batting average to OBP ratio was 160 to 277. That's pretty good.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, Bobby. You did it. You had a good year. You walked a lot.
Yeah.
You would have been a slightly alarming and a Carlos Santana over the month award
Exactly. I was about to say
of the 60 game span.
That's a precursor to the award that will be given out today for the Carlos Santana of the Month award.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, off of that subject, there's actually a pretty tough subject to talk about as on Tuesday, I believe, TMZ Sports came out with a story that Trevor Bauer has a sexual assault allegation. On Wednesday, The Athletic revealed details from the alleged victims' perspective. From my point of view, looked pretty bad. It's hard to see kind of the holes, but it was a very bad story for baseball in general, and just the Dodgers, and especially Trevor Bauer and the alleged victim. It was very bad.
Yeah, this is ugly. This is really ugly. We talked about Marcelo Zuna and how the police witnessed his event, and now that's pretty much a done deal. There is, if you read the article in the Athletic, like there's kind of a similar thing with Bauer, where he admitted on a phone call that was recorded by the police that he was hitting the victim while she was unconscious. That by itself is pretty much enough to tell you that he's guilty, and that's not even getting into the other 90% of the story. So this is such a bad look for baseball. This is a guy that has made himself. I mean, not that I wouldn't say that baseball made him the face of the league. He kind of did it to himself by starting his media company and doing all that. But I mean, this is going to affect a lot of. This is going to affect a lot of the baseball world going forward. Like this is kind of shifting the story on him from the sticky stuff to this, and this is much worse. As far as one thing I was thinking about, as far as like potential punishments, like we this weekend saw Jared Porter have his time on the ineligible list stretch until the end of 2022, and I believe Mickey Callaway is in the same boat. What Bauer did is a million times worse than what those guys did.
Yeah, and if right, and he had that had that phone call, so it's hard to, go against the narrative there. And uh yeah, and I think it definitely affects the baseball world, because a lot of young people in the game really looked up to him because of what he was doing in media. And man, that it changes so much. It really does. You can't really express um what is going to change from this.
This should be career ending. Like, it really doesn't seem that far fetched that this could be straight up the end of Trevor Bauer's career.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
like, it also is gonna greatly affect Rachel Luba as well. Like, she's probably gonna have a hard time finding clients if, if Bauer and Puig too are both alleged, assaulters. Like, this is just like, there's nothing good about this. Like, I don't like talking about stories like this, but it happened. And like, the only real evidence, if you can even call it that, that's been presented with Bauer's camp is that she consented, and we have these text messages and all this stuff prior to the event. But like, there's still so many holes in that, because obviously consent is something that can be withdrawn within the act, and that's what it appears to have been in the athletic report. But
Mhm.
I don't know why. Like, I don't really see why Bauer should get away from this unscathed.
Yeah, even if there's, a a trial, and his name somehow is able to get cleared, um even just based on allegations, you can never really look at someone like this the same, real ever again.
And Bauer had a negative reputation before that with a lot of people, and I understand that. Like, I really do, because he's said some very suggestive things in the past. This is, I mean, but as we all know, like, actions they speak louder than words, and now we have actions to go with words. So this is, like, no one's gonna look at him the same way ever again. There's still gonna be the people aimlessly defending him, and that's whatever. It's the internet. There's stupid people everywhere, but I just don't. I mean, I can't picture, like, especially the Dodgers they've been, for the most part, kind of proactive with stuff like this. Um, so I don't know. I don't know, like, what they're gonna do, because he's scheduled to start on Sunday, and that there's no way the Dodgers in their right mind could throw Bauer out there under these circumstances.
Yeah, like, and I don't even know if Bauer would want to go out there. I mean, like, even if it's at his home stadium, he's going to get ripped apart by,
It's not. It's not
where is it at?
Washington.
Yeah, like, he'll get ripped
Yeah, it's
apart for it.
Washington. It's Washington. It's Nationals Park, July 4th, DC, 11 a.m. game. Like, people are gonna be going to that, uh, and everyone's gonna know. Like,
R-
there's no way. Like, I mean, Bauer's obviously been silent on social media, which you have to be. There's no way you can just, like, be like, so, like, the sticky stuff, right? Like, crazy, right? Like, you can't be doing that, obviously. Um, but I mean, I don't really know what else to say other than, like, this should be. I mean, I will say there is a hearing that Bauer's camp will be participating in on July 23rd. Um, Other than that, like, I just don't see why. I don't see how this ends up being. I don't see how Trevor Bauer ends up getting away with this, and I don't see how he gets, like, a premier job in the big leagues again. Honestly, like, I really do. I mean, the only thing that makes me hesitate is that his team also still employs Julio Urias, who has had trouble of his own as well. Um, but
mhm.
this is obviously a much more public figure. It's someone who, you know, everyone's, like, more. I'm sure more people are aware of Bauer's doings. Like, a lot of baseball fans might not even be aware that Julio Urias had domestic abuse charges a couple years ago now. But Bauer's, obviously he's a much more public figure, and this is going to be much more well known. And it's not even getting into that. Like, obviously his victim. Like, imagine being the victim and seeing the guy who who did those things to you, like, on a big league mound. Like, that's, I can't imagine.
Yeah, it it would be hard not to say something, and she did after about 6 weeks. It spoke out. Good for her in doing that. I know it probably takes courage to do that, but
especially against like a public figure too.
yeah, exactly, and I think she's still anonymous.
Yeah. By the way, did you see that? Like when the Bauer, like his lawyers, like released a statement, they actually like put her name in the statement, and then everyone else was like, "Yeah, no, we gotta take that out."
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like if you look at the, I mean, I know Passon tweeted the statement. I think TMZ did as well. And every time, like it said her name, it said the woman, but apparently, like in the actual report, they straight up listed the person's name, and they were like, well, we can't show that. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's hard to put that out in the media, especially when it's
That's
against.
one of that's. I mean, obviously, there's so much that is messed up about all this, but that's also extremely messed up, and it's not really looked at as much because of everything else. Like everything about this sucks. Like what Bauer did is extremely messed up. But that's also like for his camp to do that is very bad as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what kind of the whatever unwritten rules are in like law, but I don't know. That did seem very interesting as you point that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of all we have to talk about it. We definitely we had to address it. We never like talking about these types of stories. We just want to talk about stats and who's doing well in the last 3 weeks, who's doing poorly in the last month. But this is the biggest story in baseball going on right now, and it would be foolish of us not to address it. And we did an okay job of staving away from the bad details and talking about it. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think the last thing I'll say is, um, if you would like to read the story, it's on the Athletic. But if you don't want to go to the paywall, I know several like Twitter users have put out like a Google Doc of the Athletic story, so that people who want, because like a story like that, it is very weird that a story like that is behind a paywall.
yeah, yeah. I feel like the
Like I don't know,
writers
like I feel like
should at least put like screenshotted paragraphs like on their social media. Like,
okay. Twitter user Voldymyr at VLODYMEER put out a Google Doc of the entirety of the Bauer article if you don't want to pay for the Athletic, because I mean I like Brittany Giroli and Katie Strang are the people who wrote it. I know it's not their fault, but like I don't know, stories like select stories like that should be free to read. Like there's no way. Like it
yeah,
is very weird that they are profiting off of a story like this.
yeah, yeah. It is extremely weird because it's not like an analysis piece. It's something that that might be like used in court. It's
Exactly.
yeah, um, yeah, pretty brutal stuff. So yeah, if you want to read that, go ahead and go to Volodymyr's Twitter. But on to brighter things. Today at 2 p.m., Phase 2 All-Star voting comes to a close. We did our Phase 1 All-Star voting a few weeks back. I would imagine our opinions differ a little bit from when they did 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely some that are staying right there. Like there's some really obvious ones to pick, but then there are some tight races that you can actually have a good discussion about. That I particularly did a little bit of research on myself. Maybe not like in the past 24 hours, but past 7 days, kind of looked at
Yep.
that kind of stuff. But we'll get into those races, addressing kind of the phase two balloting. I think I already voted today, so I I know.
I have not voted at all, which is pretty sad. But yeah.
I
By
voted.
the way, one thing that I noticed is, so Chris Bryant is one of the finalists for National League third base. He's logged like many more innings in the outfield this year than at third base,
Yeah, that's alarming.
which is kind of stupid that they're letting him get away with that. Yeah, let me find it. Let me find exactly like how many games, I guess. Would it be
Yeah,
in standard fielding? I think
yeah, it
so.
would be standard fielding, and outfield is all like one. Yeah, I voted in phase one a good amount because I wanted because Cedric Mullins wasn't in the top 9, and I needed to see Mullins in the top 9.
Which is so stupid.
But he
Yeah.
is now, so he's in the phase 2 voting. Luckily, he barely scraped in.
Yeah, he did.
What do
So
you?
I guess we'll start with what AL first base.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, let me
Anyway,
pull it.
next, because we all
Yeah.
know, and there was a. I mean, come on.
Yeah, the guy at first base.
Yeah.
I think I'm going with the guy who I think his dad played, and his dad played baseball like a few
Yeah, his
times.
dad he played for the Orioles in 2011.
Oh yeah, oh he made it to big leagues.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he
Wow.
made. He didn't make it to the. Yeah.
Yeah,
Obviously not a great team to play on, but yeah, he played for the Orioles in 2011, which is
yeah.
pretty cool.
He just missed that.
He got to play with Adam Jones, Nate McLouth.
Yes,
Yeah, he played with some guys.
Bud
Yeah.
Norris, I think.
Anyway, but his
Um,
son is doing all right, I think.
yeah, yeah. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I think that's a good pick for first base in the American League.
I would
Uh,
say so.
National League, I think I'm still going with Muncie.
I am too, but Freeman is winning it right now.
Yeah,
Which is it kind of fine because he has been BABIP to death this year. I think his BABIP is at like a career low outside of 2010, where he played 20 games.
yeah, yeah. And I think his
Pretty
ex
unfortunate.
WOBA is significantly higher than his WOBA.
Yeah.
So that screams bad luck. And but also, I mean, Muncie's been doing amazing. But yeah,
Mhm.
I think Braves fans just came out for that. And Freeman's generally a popular guy. No one dislikes Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. But I
So
mean, I think Muncie should start.
yeah, he's got a. I think as of last night, he had a 973 OPS, and
Yep.
whatever time he missed on the IL, it was only like 9 or 10 games maybe. So I'm not gonna put that against him at all.
You can't.
Um, so all right, AL second base. I think I'm still going with Marcus Simeon.
I am as well.
Yeah, because his OPS is pretty similar to Altuve, and this is from like a week ago. I was looking at him versus Altuve. His defense is very similar, at least on Statcast, but
And his base running is better.
his base running is better. That's kind of
Mhm.
the difference maker for Simeon. So yeah, I'm still voting for him. NL second base is probably the first interesting race we can get into. Uh,
Uh, who do
at
you
least
have?
I think I picked Frazier just because of like
I did as
park
well.
park factor.
I
like
did as well. Yeah.
it's weird to say that.
Yeah. I think Albies had 2 home runs last night, and Frazier still has a higher weighted runs created plus by like I think how many points is it? I think it's like 12 points, something like that.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna take a look at the National League second base rankings, but I kind of flip back and forth, generally speaking, on this race. Although I've gone Frazier consistently because I thought he deserved more recognition. Frazier's got a weighted runs created plus 12 points higher than Albies.
Look at that.
Albies has the higher F WAR,
But it's only by 0.1, right?
only by point one.
Yeah, it's 2.6 and 2.5.
What else? I know on Statcast, Albies and Frazier have similar defense, but Albies' base running is a little better. So I can honestly go either way, but last night I picked Frazier. Um, I wouldn't get mad if you picked either one. If you picked, I don't even know what's the third option.
Gavin Lux.
Yeah, I would get
And
mad if you
no.
picked Gavin Lux.
Sub 700 OPS. No.
Yeah, so
AL
Frazier
third
Albies is good.
AL third base is where I have my first changed opinion since the first time we did this. Initially, I picked Yohan Moncada over Rafael Devers, but they've been trending in different directions lately, and I am now picking Rafael Devers as my American League third baseman.
Oh yeah. Devers has just stayed as good as he's been. We did catch Moncada at his hottest when when the phase one voting came out, and like we both agreed, yeah, this guy's the guy. I think I was leaning a little more Devers at that point, but I still picked Moncada, and then Devers is just. I think Devers' numbers are better than they were 3 weeks ago, which is hard to do considering the kind of offense production he has.
Devers leads all third basemen in wins above replacement, for at least this season. By the way, Jose Ramirez absolutely snubbed from this. Absolutely
Oh my God.
Snubbed.
I'm starting to think he might be one of the more. I'm starting to think he's like top
I hope
three.
I hope he makes it as a reserve. By the way, did you see? I told you this, but like Major League Baseball, in the most Major League Baseball fashion I've ever seen, they are doing like an ESPN show where they reveal the All-Star like reserve players on July 4th at 5:30 p.m. Because surely nobody has plans, right? At 5:30 on July 4th.
Yeah, generally people are just at home watching ESPN at 5:30 on July 4th.
Why do they do this every single time? Like every single year, there's a story of like they picked a stupid time to put on this. Like obviously last year, they put on the Gold Glove show like during the election, like while the results were coming in, as if people were going to watch that.
Right. Yeah.
That was mind blowing. And now you have July 4th. Like why can't it just be the next day? Like why does it have to be July 4th? Or why can't it even be earlier in the day? Like if you do it at noon, like I think you'll get a little bit more attention because people's plans might not have started yet, but like why does it have to be 5:30 on a Sunday?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess on July 4th Sunday. Like as if people are going to watch that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, luckily it's the All-Star reserves. First of all, I don't really know why they're doing a show for All-Star reserves. I mean, it's
I don't really care. Like,
it's an
I mean,
for the players.
It is an accomplishment. We always talk about marketing the players, and that is a way to do so. So I don't really care about them doing it, even if it does seem a little weird. But, like, if you're going to do it, why do it then?
Yeah, it was probably just the most like they were probably calling up ESPN. And they're like, "What times do you have available for our thing?" And he's like, "They were like, they just left out the date. They were like, Sunday at 5:30." Like,
yeah, Sunday at 5. Oh yeah, that sounds about right. Sunday games will be ending.
Wide open.
We'll be transitioning into a Sunday night baseball. Yeah. Oh wait, it's July 4th. Oh shoot.
Oh boy.
People are gonna have plans.
We'll tell people to DVR it.
I can't believe Major League Baseball still does this, but you know what? It is what it is, and yeah.
Yeah, they just keep on keeping on. They just keep on making mistakes like this. Yeah, it's just hilarious. They never disappoint. They never disappoint in disappointing. That's what I'll say. Yeah, so Devers, AL third baseman, NL third baseman, I think has changed also. I think Nolan Arenado.
Yeah. Ooh. You think Nolan?
Yes.
I think Justin Turner.
Yeah, I mean
Justin Turner is a higher OBP, he is a higher OPS, he has a higher weighted runs created plus, he has a higher offensive runs above average, and he's only 0.1 below an F4. He has a higher walk rate. Yeah, I would pick Justin Turner.
I'm gonna look at the updated stats because I mean maybe one of them had a good day yesterday and one of them had a bad day. Let's look. I want to look at OPS. Strictly OPS. Here, have to go to advanced here. So
Turner has an 849 and Arenado was an 834.
833 according to Fangraphs. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's weird to look at defense for this stuff, but I mean, I like to do it as analytically as I can.
Yeah.
We're gonna look at Turner, what he does in the field. Well, I typed in Turner. There's way too many Turners. That's tough. Justin Turner. All right, we're gonna take a look at Justin Turner's fielding on the old Baseball Savant machine. See what he's doing.
You are really going deep for this.
I mean, I like to have valid reasons for why I make my selections. All right, Turner's at -1 for outs above average. Arenado. There's no other Arenados except for, I think, one minor leaguer. Arenado fielding, as we take a look here at Baseball Savant. Oh, wow, 0 outs above average this year. What is going on?
Boom.
What's going on with...
Come on, Chris, join the movement. Join the Turner train.
I'll say Turner.
Yeah, let's go.
I voted for Arenado last night, but I changed my opinion. I just automatically assumed. That's what happens when you assume, but
yeah,
that's another saying. But Arenado.
Yep.
I assumed he was playing Gold Glove defense this year, and he's not really.
He really is not.
Must be the altitude, They always blame offense for it, but in reality, it's just your defense. Now, but yeah, that surprises me that Nolan Arenado has 0 outs above average this year. That's weird. That's weird. He better not get Gold Glove again. Then I hope he doesn't. I don't know who else is viable.
Unless he has a second half surge.
Yeah,
that's the only way.
Yeah, I don't know who the other good National League defensive third basemen are. Most of them are in the American League. Good defensive third baseman, Chapman or Shella, Bregman. But can't think of anybody right now. But shortstop, American League shortstop, definitely Bogarts.
Xander Bogarts, and then National League is Tatis. That one's not too difficult.
Those are both pretty easy.
Yeah.
Not much explanation there.
Catcher, join the movement. Join the movement. You already know what we're doing for catcher.
For American League?
Yeah, you do. Come on, Chris.
Oh, what? The Carlos Santana Carlos Santana of the Month award winner?
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
I hate to be a party pooper, but I actually voted
No, Chris, you're not about to do it. No, you are absolutely not going to vote for Salvador Perez. Absolutely not.
Yeah, he's played 19 more games. I looked at the caught stealing percentage comparatively as catchers. I mean, he's not the best framer, but Yasmani Grandal had kind of average framing. Salvador Perez's was bad, and Perez had better caught stealing. And their
Grandal. Okay, so you mentioned hold on. You mentioned that Perez has played 19 more games, right? Perez has a 1.6 FWAR and Grandal has a 2.0.
Yeah, I don't trust.
In 19 less games, he has 0.4 more FWAR. He also has a 391 on base compared to Salvi's 310. He has a better OPS. He has a better weighted runs created plus. He has a 25% walk rate. He walks at the same rate that he strikes out. He has a 180 BABIP. He has had an absolute miracle of a season that you're never going to see again, Chris. We need to see Yasmani Grandal in the All-Star game. Salvador Perez is a 2.5% walk rate.
It's Doesn't he still have a
Yasmani
higher
Grandal
OPS?
walks almost 13 times more than Perez. Grandal is the higher OPS with a 186 batting average. This is the batting average doesn't matter train. Yasmani Grandal. If you vote for Salvador Perez, you're voting for batting average. That's just a fact. Grandal has an 839 OPS. Perez has an 824 OPS.
Yeah.
Chris, you're voting for Yasmani Grandal.
Well, I
Yeah,
voted.
yep.
I voted for Salvi last night. I don't know if I can.
Well, you're gonna vote for Grandal today.
I'm looking for the.
He had 2 home runs last night.
But I mean, offensively,
He is 0.4 higher F4 and.
Offensively, I will take an 824 OPS in 79 games over an 39 in 59 games. Offensively, it's not a matter of
60 games, but
60
offensively,
games.
I mean, all around, you would take a 2.0 F4 in 60 games over a 1.6 in 79 games. That's just common sense.
Yeah, I mean,
His weighted runs created plus is 18 points higher.
I don't know what Fangraphs.
His defensive runs above average is 4.5.
I don't know where they're getting that defensive.
Chris, I will not let you go. I will not move on until you vote for Yasmani Grandal.
I mean, I wish I could.
Chris, you're gonna vote for Yasmani Grandal.
I wish I could find
a
reason.
You're gonna do it.
To do this. I mean, like, he's giving up.
You gotta do it. Chris, join the movement.
I know it's not always on the pitcher or not always on the catcher. Sometimes it's on the pitcher, but he's given up 8 more stolen bases than Salvador Perez. I don't know where they're getting these defensive metrics from. So, yeah, Salvador Perez is my American League catcher for the 2021.
You just vote for Perez. A vote for Perez is a vote for batting average.
It's not. It's not.
It is. It really is.
I look at the whole picture. You've seen me. Look at how deep I'm going into this, Daniel.
What do you think about?
I'm not just looking at F4. I'm like, where are they getting these defensive metrics from? I have no idea. There's no other thing that's telling me that Yasmani Grandal is this much better on defense than Salvador Perez.
That's fine. I'm looking at a 25% walk rate. He walks once every 4 plate appearances.
I like walks,
and he has 14 home runs and a 180 BABIP.
What's the difference in on base percentage here? Generally speaking, if you walk 25% of the time but have a 250 on base percentage,
81
it's still
points.
bad.
81 points.
His on base percentage is that much higher.
Higher, yes, 310 to 391.
But the slugging is a big advantage on Perez's side also.
That's because Grandal is a 180 BABIP compared to Salvi's 330 BABIP.
I'm not really looking at peripherals, unfortunately, for all this.
Well,
but I mean, I will.
I'll take a guy who produces more wins for my team in significantly less games.
I'll say that Grandal, he might be, if his luck turns over and he ends up, he should, by math, should have like a 400 BABIP from now on. He might be my all MLB pick if at least if Posey slows down, because Posey's having a great year in the National League. But I'm sorry, I cannot go that direction.
You're not joining the miracle /line movement.
I'm sorry.
That's a shame.
I apologize, but
no, that's not okay. 186, 391, 448, 839. You're just gonna turn that down. That's an absolute miracle of a /line.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to do it, but I'm going with Salvador Perez.
That's just sick.
Anyway, National League catcher Buster Posey. It's pretty easy.
Buster Posey.
American League outfield has always been interesting because the best players are injured. Byron Buxton and Mike Trout are injured.
Well, didn't Buxton come back?
Yeah, he came
wrong?
back.
I'm pretty sure Buxton came back. Yeah. So
And
I'll vote
I think
Buxton.
He's still doing pretty well.
I'll vote Mullins. I mean, I know Trout is not coming back because I'm pretty sure there's no timetable on his return now.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're correct about that. I was looking at this last night, voting for participating in our democracy, of course, and uh, Adolis Garcia's defensive numbers actually surprised me. He has 6 outs above average. It's weird.
Oh well.
And he slumped and then he's kind of come back a little bit. I didn't go with any of the guys that have been injured for a while, although it would be nice to see Buxton in the All-Star game just because he's a great player. And or like when he's healthy, he is a very, very good player. So he would be fun to see. I wouldn't be mad to see him. I put Mullins, Judge, and Garcia. It's just kind of an odd
Okay.
outfield, but
I put Mullins, Judge, and Buxton
I wouldn't mind.
just because
Yeah,
he's back.
Buxton would be nice to
Yeah.
see. I mean, an 76 OPS or something like that.
Yeah. 1176. It's
Yeah.
a joke. National League outfield is pretty easy. It's Acuna, Castellanos, and Winker.
Yeah, that hasn't changed since
By the
phase
way,
1.
The fact that Bryce Harper has 13 home runs and 23 RBI, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But also, to be fair, he has 43 at bats with runners in scoring position this year and 1 extra base hit. That's not very good.
What's his average?
His slash line is 233, 365, 256, 621.
Yeah, 233 ain't great. It's not awful, but it's not
He
great.
has 13 home runs. All of them are solo. It's not great at all. SOPS plus of 71, which means he's almost 30% below what the average person does with men in scoring position.
Yep.
Yeah, he has 13 home runs, all of them solo home runs, which is pretty weird.
Yeah, he's a selfish player, like everyone said.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, no, that's a joke. If anyone was took that out of context.
Yeah.
I
mean, statistically, Bryce Harper should be an all-star, just not a starter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. His OPS is what, in like the upper 800s, lower 900s.
No, it's the lower 900s.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good player. Really good player. And American League designated hitter,
Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
He's just
That's not even. I don't even have a.
we picked him. We picked him in phase 1, and he's just gone on and been the hottest player in baseball since we picked him in phase 1. So that's an obvious choice. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So.
So we had one. I think we had 2 disagreements on the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, Perez versus Grandal, and.
So I picked Buxton and you picked Garcia.
Yep. Yeah. In the outfield. Yeah. So, when this episode ultimately comes out, I think voting will be closed unless you listen within the first half hour of release. So I'm not going to encourage people to vote now, even though it doesn't really matter. So I guess that leads into our players to highlight for today. And now for our Thursday, July 1st edition, Bobby Bonilla Day edition of. How about that? So who do you have to highlight? What I believe you have a subject at hand for the how about that. What subject do you have to talk about for the how about that?
So I'm looking at the youth movement in the starting rotation for the Detroit Tigers today. Since May 1st, which would be pretty much exactly 2 months worth of sample size, Casey Mize, Tarek Skubal, and Spencer Turnbull have combined for a 3.54 ERA and 216 innings pitched. That's like more than a full season, where the 3 of them would combine for a 3.54, which is excellent. Casey Mize's ground ball rate has gone from 39% in 2020 to 50% in 2021. Skubal's K rate, or Ks per 9, since May 1st is 4th among qualifiers, behind Max Scherzer, Aaron Nola, and the one and only Robert Glenn Ray. And Turnbull is in the top 25 percentile in pretty much most categories on Savant. And when you look at guys like Mize and Scooble particularly, like they do have some underlying issues. Like Mize doesn't strike out a whole lot of people, and Scooble doesn't. Scooble walks a decent amount of people, but like they are still in their growing pain years, as I like to call them. So like, if this is what the growing pain years looks like, where they're still finding ways to get outs, even if it's not in the traditional dominant way, like a lot of great things are ahead for them because they haven't reached their prime yet, and they're still getting guys out and being efficient pitchers, even with the underlying stats. So I'm very excited to see what they can do going forward. And Turnbull is just about hitting his prime now, so like this rotation is going to be something to watch for when the team is eventually competing in the next few years.
All right, Detroit youth movement. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Casey Mize is kind of the person probably most people focus on because he was a, number 1 overall draft pick. He's the one that definitely jumps out to me. And I think outside of Turnbull, yeah, Scooble and Mize kind of had rough 2020s. I mean, we all did, didn't we? Didn't we, Daniel? Didn't we all just have
we all had rough 2020s, right?
Yeah.
2020 was just a tough year for the world.
Who didn't have a rough 2020? Oh no. Okay. But Scooble and Mize had rough 2020 seasons. You don't expect much out of rookies like that, but quick turnarounds for both of them, which is nice to see. So now on to my how about that. This guy, he had glimpses of greatness in 2019. Got injured, which was really tough. Had a rough 2020 along with the rest of his team.
I mean, didn't we all, Chris?
Yeah. I didn't do that on purpose. I swear, I did that completely on accident. Had a rough April and May of 2021, but he is finally turning it around. He's kind of one of the premier pieces of the franchise and might be a trade target. Joey Gallo has really been turning it up in the last about month. In his last 21 games, he is hitting .299 with a 12.21 OPS. In the span, he is third in weighted runs created plus, third in OPS, and second in on-base percentage, along with ranking fourth in Fangraphs wins above replacement. And but some changes potentially in approach, how he's seeing the ball, potentially the pitchers he's facing. Obviously, as there's been a shift in what pitchers are able to use. Obviously, as that's been the biggest story in baseball. So before the span, which started on June 4th, before the span, he had a 33% strikeout rate and an 18% walk rate. In this span, his strikeout rate is down to 24%, and his walk rate is up to 23%. So he's almost walking as many times as he's striking out, which is a very good sign, especially for someone who, isn't shy to strike out, but, is back 24% strikeout rate. That's pretty much the MLB average, and he's known as a guy who strikes out. So putting the ball in play and really, really doing well and really making himself a good potential trade target for the Rangers to give off to a competitive team potentially. So Joey Gallo. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned Joey Gallo as a potential trade piece. Before the season, when we previewed the Rangers, one point that I made is that they really only have one valuable trade asset, and that's Joey Gallo. And the Rangers have, I know that they aren't a good team, that they have impressed me this year with some guys they've had come up and perform very well for them. Nick Solak, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Adolis Garcia. Like they've had guys who have impressed me, and if you could trade Gallo at his peak value. Like I don't think he's ever been worth more than he is now, except for I don't know how much is left on his contract. He wouldn't be a rental, would he?
I think he's got this year and next year.
Next year, yeah. Imagine. I mean, I think a lot of people have been kicking the tires on like a potential Joey Gallo to the Yankees trade. The Yankees are probably desperate right now because they're obviously hovering 500 as a team that was World Series or bust. Like I could realistically picture the Yankees giving up like an arm and a leg to get Joey Gallo, and the Rangers could get a really nice haul for him.
Yeah.
Joey Gallo also leads the league in walks this year with 62. That's pretty awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I could really see the Rangers capitalizing on a Joey Gallo trade, right? Or I mean, I don't even think they'd have to wait till July 31st. Like this could be done. I don't see why they wait. This could be done
Yeah.
soon. So yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, Rangers don't really have to wait. They know they're not in a competitive situation right now. So, 3 months of Joey Gallo is worth more than 2 months of Joey Gallo. So, kind of have to get the sweepstakes rolling on that. Although some teams just need the deadline to be forced to make a decision. So I kind of get that. So now we go from the highs to the lows, where we're talking about players or subjects that are underperforming. So for our Thursday, July 1st, 2021 edition of Slightly Alarming. So who has been on your radar for bad reasons?
Yeah. So my slightly alarming didn't necessarily have big expectations coming into this year, but I think there is a lot to take away from his recent performance, and I'm talking about Jake Arrieta, who has really been struggling as of late. If you look at his Savant page, the only like good percentile he has is his curveball spin, and mind you, he is not a fastball pitcher in this later portion of his career. So I feel like it's possible that the sticky stuff, the spider tack, the rosin, all of that might be what was keeping him in the league to this point. In his start yesterday, he blew a 7-0 lead to the Milwaukee Brewers, and his spin rates were down 200 plus RPM on 3 of his 4 pitches. And dating back to the substance ban, his first start in June, from that point on, he has an 8.31 ERA, and dating back to May 19th, he has a 5.35 walks per 9. So like I really feel like we might be seeing the very last of Jake Arrieta in the big leagues. And I feel like the Sicky stuff ban could take him with it.
Yeah. I mean, there's some careers that are definitely altered and potentially ended by this shift in the rules. But it definitely by the shift in the rules, obviously, and yeah, especially an older guy like Arrieta who wasn't doing well to begin with, that can definitely change things. So, Jake Arrieta. All right, so on to my slightly alarming, and my slightly alarming isn't really a thing where it's like they were expected to do kind of like yours. They were expected to do a lot, but I kind of want to acknowledge them because of the situation they're in. Just generally, I'm talking about the Cleveland starting rotation. It's pretty much that they're all injured. They're pretty beat up. So Shane Bieber, Zach Plesac, and Aaron Savale, their 3 best starters are all on the IL currently. And since Shane Bieber went onto the injured list, the Indians starting rotation has a 5.91 ERA, which ranks 27th in Major League Baseball in this span. It's been not good for the rotation. And, when we've talked about the Indians the past couple years, with them letting go of, Bauer, Kluber, Carrasco, all in the past few years, and they always Clevenger, all in the past few years, and they've always seemed to find a way to fill that spot. But when your 3 best pitchers are on the injured list, it's very hard to fill that void. And the Indians have been unfortunately paying for that, as you can't fill every single spot. It's been pretty bad. Tristan McKenzie hasn't been quite what he was in 2020. It's not been good for them, although they're still keeping themselves relevant in the standings. So once they get people back, I think Shane Bieber's on a good timeline. I don't think anyone else has relatively serious injuries in that rotation. It's just, they've had bad luck with injuries lately, and it's taken a toll on their pitching staff. So just had to acknowledge that. Cleveland rotation, their depleted rotation.
Slightly alarming.
All right, so on to
One more.
what do you have another slightly alarming? What? Oh yeah. All right.
We got the Carlos Santana of the Month award. Yeah.
On to the monthly award. Yes.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, in 2020, Carlos Santana had a anomaly of a 199, 349, 350 slash line, which was absolutely beautiful. It was one of my favorite things in the world. So every month I will be giving out a Carlos Santana of the Month award, given out to someone who with a low batting average and a high OBP, just a high walk rate. In April, it was given to Ian Happ, and in May, it was of course given to my all-star starting catcher for the American League, Yasmani Grandal. And in June, the winner is Abraham Almonte from the Atlanta Braves. Nice. During the month of June, he slashed 216, 379, 365 for a 744 OPS. He had a 21.1% walk percentage, which was the third best in Major League Baseball in the month of June. Abraham Almonte, congratulations. You are the third recipient of the Carlos Santana of the Month award.
Congratulations to Abraham Almonte. Unfortunately, we don't have a sound clip for that. It would be hard, but I don't know. Maybe I'll edit in an applause there. He deserves it. Yeah. He deserves it. Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
Some incredible stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of your baseball accomplishments in your life, you're thinking, Cy Youngs for pitchers, MVPs, Hall of Fame, and then, of course, the ultimate prize, the Carlos Santana of the Month award, given out every month now.
Yeah.
On Above Replacement Radio.
I love Replacement
Radio. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, I mean,
what
a 216 average with a 379 OBP is gonna do it.
I think I missed it. What team does he play for again? I'm not that familiar with him.
Yeah, and he plays for the Braves.
Braves, right.
Yep.
For some reason, I thought he might have been with the Cubs, but I think that's maybe another.
I think he was at one point. I remember in 2017 or 18, he had a 500-foot home run for the A's, and that was the only thing I could tell you about him until this month.
Yeah, he just seems like one of those guys. He'll just pop up sometimes. All right, so congratulations to Abraham Almonte, and now we get on to the preview of the weekend ahead. I'll get into series. Daniel will get into day-by-day matchups. Unfortunately, okay, Wi-Fi is a little iffy over here, but I think I'm able to see just about everything. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, but we always watch their series, but Red Sox A's, I mean, that's going to be a good matchup. Red Sox are going to the Coliseum. The last time they played against each other was this year. It was at Fenway. The A's took 2 out of 3. The Red Sox won the run differential war, though. So, potentially that could be the flip. The script could be flipped there potentially. So Red Sox A's, that's going to be good. Maybe, I mean, I don't want to be pessimistic, but potentially maybe an AL wildcard matchup or some type of playoff matchup in the future that could be brewing ahead. I feel like it's been weird that they've missed each other in the playoffs after, going to the playoffs. But I guess the A's didn't start going until 2018. So never mind on that. So Red Sox A's, I don't know. I mean, there's some good record matchups that I'm not going to go too deep in on Indians, Astros. I feel like the Astros offense should do well there with that depleted rotation right now. And, you know, you got the Subway Series, Yankees, Mets. Looks like I think that's going to be a 3-gamer. I don't know. It might be one of those weird series where they ended after 2. But I think that's a 3-gamer. Let's look at Sunday. But yeah, what day-by-day matchups do you have to look at?
There's a lot of pitch today. You got all day for the Red Sox. You have Jose Barrios, potential trade target, going for the Twins up against Carlos Rodon. That's a good matchup. I wouldn't say this is the matchup of the day, but one of the interesting matchups happening at 1 o'clock. Yusei Kikuchi versus Hyunjin Ryu. 2 left-handed pitchers, both of Asian descent, will be going against each other. Ryu from South Korea, Kikuchi from Japan. And obviously I've talked briefly about Kikuchi on this show and how he's been pitching very excellent lately. One of your how about that, Sean Manaea will be going for the A's against the Rangers. Tony Gonsolin will be going against the Nationals today. Pablo Lopez will be going for the Marlins against the Phillies. Corbin Burns will be going for the Brewers against the Pirates. Ryan Weathers and Luis Castillo will be matching up against each other. That's an interesting one. Framber Valdez will be going for the Astros. And the best matchup of the day, Jacob deGrom going tonight in Atlanta versus Ian Anderson. That's one that you're going to want to watch for sure.
Yep.
And then on Friday, you have Zach Wheeler going for the Phillies. You have Julio Urias versus Max Scherzer. You have Taijuan Walker going for the Mets. You have, I believe that's also going to be Garrett Cole. I think Taijuan Walker versus Garrett Cole would probably be the matchup of the day, assuming that Cole is starting on Friday. The Yankees haven't announced their starter, but Cole would be next in line. You have Lance McCullers Jr. going. You have Lance Lynn versus Casey Myers. That is also a good matchup that you should be excited for. And then on Saturday, you have Marcus Stroman going for the Mets. You have Yu Darvish versus one of my players to watch, Matt Moore, who has proven me right so far this year, safe to say. You have Tyler Mahle going for the Reds against the Cubs. You have Keuchel versus Skubal. You have Sandy Alcantara going for the Marlins. And you also have Clayton Kershaw. As for matchup of the day, I would say probably just based on everything that's announced right now, I'd say probably Keuchel versus Skubal, which I already mentioned. And then on Sunday, Trevor Bauer is scheduled to pitch. I'm assuming that's going to change. You have Freddie Peralta going for the Brewers. That's going to be exciting. You have Kyle Hendricks versus Wade Miley, which is a pretty good matchup. You have Zach Greinke going for the Astros against the Indians. You have Lucas Giolito going. You have Trevor Rogers going on Sunday against the Braves. You have Herman Marquez going at home. He almost threw a no-hitter recently, and he had a very strong month of June. He'll be going against the Cardinals. And I'd say the matchup of the day, honestly, Anthony Descalfani versus Caleb Smith. Very weird that I'm including a Diamondback, but Caleb Smith, of course, is 2-4 with a 3.08 ERA. Fitting.
Yeah.
That's based on everything that's announced, obviously. So stuff could change, but, that's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I would extend on that, but I'm on a bit of a time crunch. People want to go on this boat, so
Yep.
hate to gloss over things, but just want to say to the audience, we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and want to watch the conversation as it happens, this podcast may or may not be on YouTube right now because it takes a while to upload with this weird main Wi-Fi, this rental house Wi-Fi that, I don't know the age of the people who own this house. So it may or may not be on YouTube. So maybe watch the conversation as it happens. Also, follow us on social media. You can definitely do that. Follow me on Twitter @Chris_Gianta and follow Daniel on both Twitter and Instagram @Daniel_Kern, and follow the show Instagram @Above Replacement Radio for all the show needs. And we hope you enjoyed this one, and we hope to see you on Monday, where we are talking all the happenings in Major League Baseball. Once again, see you then.
This conversation is over.